In this video, we will clarify one of the most puzzling, astronomical topics in the Quran: the firing of celestial missiles. According to the Quran, one of the functions of stars, or perhaps certain stars, is to act as missiles, to drive away intruders. Nevertheless, the Quran clearly states that the stars are located inside the impenetrable sky. In other words, the sky acts as a barrier between the intruders and the missiles of the stars. If this seems puzzling, keep watching.
And both America and the Russians started firing nuclear missiles straight up. If you look at the footage of these explosions, they explode outwards in a ring, which means it's exploding against something because it can't rise with the heat. So it's exploding against something and exploding outwards.
So, the question is, since the stars are behind the impenetrable sky, how can the jinn, or humans, get fired, while they are on the other side of the impenetrable firmament? Indeed, in order for a person to understand the Quran, one must contemplate its verses. Therefore, let us together contemplate the verses, and see the truth about these celestial missiles. As you will see, the Quran mentions 3 main types of celestial missiles, not one. They are al-shihab, al-shuwaz, and invisible, rujum. The most active type of missiles are the invisible projectiles. The second most active type is al-shihab, or the so-called meteor. Finally, the rarest type of celestial missiles is al-shuwaz. In fact, these missiles do not get fired from the stars. Further, humans rarely see them, as they occur around the confines of the earth. More details later. According to the Quran, the role of the invisible projectiles is to deter the evil ones, especially from jinn, from stealing information or revelations from the sky. Though, these invisible projectiles do not kill intruders. They only drive the intruders back from the sky. The Quran states that despite the common celestial bombardments, an intruder may still manage to obtain certain heavenly information. Whenever this happens, a shihab chases and terminates the stealer of information. While the function of the shooting stars is to prevent the stealing of information, the role of this flame is to prevent jinn, or human-made objects, from passing the confines of the earth. Let us start with the verses regarding this flame, before moving to the main topic. In other words, the verses are informing the inhabitants of earth that, in order to pass the sides of the earth, you must have a powerful transportation. Yet, even if you obtain a powerful transportation, you won't be allowed to pass through, as a flame of fire and copper will be sent against you. Note that, unlike the celestial missiles of the stars, the verse does not state that al-shuwaz gets fired, but it is rather sent. The Quran uses the same expression to refer to uncommon, godly forces, as the following verses show. But now, let us see the verses concerning the stars and their celestial projectiles. As we previously mentioned, one of the roles of stars is to protect the heavenly information through bombarding intruders wanting to obtain information. Here are some of the verses concerning one of the roles of stars, or perhaps certain stars. Next, let us see the verses concerning stage 1 of the bombardments. Pushing back intruders. And we have adorned the worldly sky with the adornment of planets, and to preserve from every rebellious Satan. As a result, the next verse says, they cannot listen to the higher group, for they are bombarded from every side. Now, do the common bombardments kill the intruders? No. The next verse mentions the consequence of the bombardments, as follow: driven off, and theirs is a painful torment. That's it. Stage 1 ends here. However, whenever someone succeeds in snatching an info, stage 2 begins. Or more precisely, the role of the Shihab begins. We'll get back to Shihabs shortly. Though, let us see more verses regarding stage 1 of the bombardments. Here, these two verses inform us that the sky with its stars is a guarded sky. Yet, once again, the next verse states that only when a revelation is stolen, the role of the Shihab begins. As you can see, this verse mentions one of the unique characteristics of the Shihab. It is visible. We'll come back to this later. Let us see one more group of verses. And that we touched the sky. And we found it filled with intense guards and Shihabs. And that we used to sit thereof, in sitting places, for listening. But whoso listens now, finds for him a monitoring Shihab. As you can see, the verse indicates that the sky is touchable. Furthermore, the verse clearly differentiates between the Shihab and other guards, such as stage 1 projectiles. In this section, we will understand how a Shihab can target a stealer of information, despite the fact that the firmament is situated between the source of the missile and the intruder. Firstly, let's get rid of some of the science fiction from our brains, through introducing a scientific statement stated by Nikola Tesla, the biggest electrical and mechanical engineer of the 20th century. He stated, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Tesla, in other words, was referring to the electromagnetic waves. Certainly, even NASA cannot but admit that stars emit electromagnetic waves. Though, are stars gas balls, which are trillions of miles away from Earth? Perhaps, it is important for some to know that Tesla sent a number of alerting, indirect messages regarding the fake universe inculcated into our brains. One of the messages was, today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments, and they wander off through equation after equation, and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality. Indeed, when you look at the stars through a telescope, you will see these somewhat nearby stars. Now, if you insist that this star is a gas ball trillions of miles away, make sure that you waste no more time on this video. We wish you the best of luck. In short, stars are energetic objects, situated above the firmament, and emit electromagnetic waves. To keep it simple, you only need to know the followings about the electromagnetic waves of the stars. Note that even NASA cannot but accept the following scientific information. 1. Stars emit electromagnetic radiation, or energy, in other words. 2. Electromagnetic radiation is transmitted in waves. 3. Electromagnetic waves differ in their strength of energy. The higher the frequencies of a wave are, the more energetic the wave is. 4. The most energetic waves are harmful, and can penetrate objects more deeply, because of their high energy. Some of the strongest known electromagnetic waves are X-rays and gamma rays. Hence, according to the previous scientific information, here is the explanation of stage 1 of the bombardments. During stage 1 of the bombardments, or the common bombardments, certain stars emit a form of electromagnetic waves, with energy, or frequencies, high enough to reach the sky and its surroundings. This, as the result, forces intruders to retreat, and thus, deter intruders from stealing information. However, in regard to the Shihab, when an intruder manages to obtain some information, here, certain stars emit the strongest form of electromagnetic waves. Here, as we previously mentioned, the most energetic waves penetrate objects forcefully, because of their extremely high energy. As the result, this wave penetrates the firmament, and chases the intruder, before it terminates the spying craft. It is for this reason, God in the Quran describes the Shihab as a penetrator, or a piercer. Here, some might say that the strongest electromagnetic waves do not glow, as the Shihab does. Hence, how can we see the Shihabs? Perhaps this is the case. Though, remember, a Shihab is a highly energetic electromagnetic wave, traveling at extremely high speed. Accordingly, after it penetrates the firmament, and surges through the atmospheric gases, ionization occurs, and thus, its surroundings glows brightly, and the Shihab becomes visible.